Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk. And today we're going to take a review of week 2. But just so everybody knows, we are recording this a few hours before the Packer-Lions game, Monday Night Football. My whole neighborhood is insane, Maddie. You can't get anywhere. I live on the border of Ashwaubenon and Green Bay, and most people are like, what the hell is an Ashwaubenon? But for anybody who does not know, the north end zone of Lambeau Field is in Green Bay. The south end zone is in Ashwaubenon. So if you hear fireworks going off behind me, it's because they're already partying and going nuts a few blocks from my house.
It's the tailgating has already begun.
Yes.
And it's a divisional game, so it's a big game on a nighttime. Looking forward to it. We've already got that one down as a Packers win. I'm just looking for Devontae Adams to score 14 points in fantasy team. That's all I'm really
FanDuel, that's a prop bet. Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns. It's a prop bet. So they're looking at is it being possible?
We'll see what happens. The Packers have been weird, so we'll talk about them depending on how the result happens in our another video, probably tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's just get into that game last night, okay? And Maddie, I don't know, man, but just take a look to your right. Give me a high five because that shit was awesome. So that game was insane. I know I hit you up. You had to watch it this morning when you got up because it got really late there. But, man, Lamar came out a little rough. But, man, Lamar balled out. Patrick Mahomes looked good. Lamar got me 33 in one league. Patrick Mahomes got me like 25 in my other league. Man, that was a great game that I think shocked us both because I think we both had KC winning.
Yeah, we both had KC winning. We were both kind of like, oh, Lamar Jackson's just in his head about KC. Like when he plays there, he seems to not be quite himself. And then it looked like he wasn't going to be himself today. Honey Badger's back. Got to shout that man out, 2 picks on his return. Incredible safety. It was just so strange to watch what happened. Like, why are the Chiefs running the ball there? Clive Edwards-Helaire. Is he really the guy? Do KC need to go out and get another running back possibly? Is their defense really that good? We'll see what happens. Or did Lamar Jackson just play some amazing football towards the end of the thing and he can't really stop that?
Yeah, I think we've always had this weird question about Kansas City's defense. Like,
yeah,
there's some big names on it, but they almost play it like a no-name defense type. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think, though, with Kansas City, they just have so many people paid and so many weapons on offense. Their whole goal is just to slow you down and let Patrick Mahomes and the boys outscore you. So I don't think we have to worry.
It's like they just have to be good enough, They just have to be good enough. And then they have Matthews taking interceptions out of the backfield. It's a game that they should have won if they don't fumble the ball. They were going to win that game. They'd won. They were in position to kick the field goal and win that game. They should have won that game, and they fumbled the bag. But don't want to take anything away from Baltimore. Obviously, a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, and Lamar Jackson had a great game. Congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens.
Right, and isn't it almost like the law of probability? Like sooner or later, Patrick Mahomes has to throw an interception, has to lose, has to do something in September that he's never done before, right? Sooner or later, a guy who's good enough, like a Lamar Jackson, has to beat a Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. So even if it wasn't this year, it was going to happen at some point. We just weren't sure when. And we got to see it in an amazing overtime game.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic game. Very happy for John Harbaugh. Very happy for the Ravens. They played really well. That AFC West is wide open. And we'll probably talk about that a bit later on.
And this is going to sound weird for a team that gave up 30-plus points. But the Ravens defense are young and super injured, and they're getting it. They're starting to get it. Patrick Queen is getting it. Those corners are getting it. I forget the young kid's name, but he had to lock up Tyreek Hill last night, and he was just like, all right, I got this.
Yeah, when they're not injured, you've got to feel they're back to being one of the best defenses in the league. They've just also found that they have amazing young talent as well as the cornerbacks that are out injured. And after that week 1 loss against the Raiders, lots of people were asking questions about Baltimore, and I've still got questions about them, to be perfectly honest. Like, it was a home game. They were super pumped up. So they've still got to carry a lot into the season, playing in a really tough division in the AFC North. So they've still got questions to answer, but they took a big step forward last night. KC, you just came across Lamar Jackson playing lights out football at the wrong time, and you fumbled the ball in a game that you should have won. Clive Edwards-Helaire isn't a number 1 running back for the Super Bowl winning team. You would have to say that's their weakest position if you were looking at it. So they're going to have to go out and find a solution, a running back. But apart from that, then I
agree with what you just said, because he only got me like 4 points in fantasy. So he's going to the bench because he's been awful 2 weeks in a row. But to another game that was kind of crazy, the Minnesota Vikings, the Arizona Cardinals. Was I heart-wrenched yesterday? Yes, absolutely. But after sitting back, rewatching the game, going on Facebook, reading some stuff, I got a couple things I got to say. First, Arizona played great. This ain't a shot at them. Nothing at all that they did would be the reason for what I'm going to say. Yeah. They played absolutely amazing, okay? One, the big thing I got to say is quit blaming the Vikings coaching staff, people. Sometimes it's the Billies and the Joes and not the X's and the O's. So, Kirk Cousins, first 2 weeks of the season, 595 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. Not Kirk's fault. That defense is a bend or break defense. They did enough to get the ball back when they needed. Both games, the Vikings had a chance to win at the end and shit the bed. That is not the coaching staff. You can blame the kicker. You can argue the fumble, whatever. It happened. Kirk Cousins is not the reason they lost. The coaching staff is not the reason they lost. They lost because they had bad shit happen at the worst times, right? And you can argue that's a sign of culture, maybe. I feel like the Vikings played both games real tough and hard. You take out the first 2 quarters of the first game, and for 6 quarters in an overtime, they've been playing what you couldn't ask for them to be playing much better. They just ended up with 2 losses in games they could have 2 wins with. That shit happens, and maybe it crushes the season. Maybe it doesn't, but quit blaming the coaching staff.
Yeah, they just came across 2 young quarterbacks playing absolutely lights out football as well. Like Joe Burrow didn't look good this week against the Chicago Bears, but he looked amazing against the Vikings on his first return back. And Kyler Murray this season is MVP caliber through the first 2 weeks. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's going to be the MVP, but he was just made some absolutely incredible plays in windows that shouldn't be happening. And you still should have won that game. Even like you conceded, 34 points, and you still should have won that game. It was like the Cowboys last week where we were in position to win the game and we missed the kicks, didn't get the kicks right. And that just happens. That's why kickers get paid the big bucks to ice those games out for you like they should. You have a feeling that it's all mental fortitude with kickers, and you just need to do psychological tests to decide how good they are.
Yeah, and I keep everybody going, the Vikings should have went for a touchdown because he missed an extra point. Sure, the guy missed an extra point, but in 2 games, he's hit 350-plus yarders. Like, Zimmer did exactly what you were supposed to do as a coach. And the difference between the Bears and the Vikings with Joe Burrow, and this is a real thing, and I think you'll agree, the Vikings let Joe Burrow get hot from the beginning. So the whole game, he was riding that. The Bears never let Joe Burrow get comfortable, which was the whole difference in the game, right? So but I just say I'm not giving the Vikings any excuses. I don't believe in moral victories unless it comes to a rookie quarterback. Like, because there is things that a rookie quarterback can take a moral victory. I don't believe in it anywhere else in the NFL. A loss is a loss. The Vikings shit the bed. But that's not to say that Arizona didn't deserve to win, because Arizona played their ass off. Like, so I'm not trying to take away from them either.
Arizona are real. Arizona are a real football team, everybody. People need to start getting used to the fact that Arizona could win a lot of games this year. They could also still just fall off the bandwagon. They're a very young team. They're going to run hot and cold. But for me, they're just a young team that's really quick. They'll score quick on you. Their defense was outstanding in week 1 and then not so good this week. But then Kyler Murray just puts them on his back and makes silly plays, around the pitch. And yeah, he's going to throw some interceptions, but obviously so does Patrick Mahomes when he's just trying to make plays and make shit happen out of nothing, like Justin Herbert against the Cowboys as well, doing that kind of stuff. Like those guys who can just make mad plays happen are going to throw interceptions the entire time. I don't think the Vikings really have that much to worry about. They're only going to be one game back, no matter what happens tonight. Like they're going to be one game back.
Right. It's just that weird. You have to win 2 to get back to 500, which makes you're chasing your own ass right off the bat. But
yeah, of course. But
that's what the Vikings do.
It's a tough played 0-2 in what could be a really weak division this year, depending on how the Packers come out tonight and how they come out and just play in general. They're only going to be one game back though. Like in the NFC East, people won last year with a losing record, so you don't necessarily have to be at 500. You just have to beat the other teams in your division. So I don't think they've got anything to worry about because they're one game back with all the people in their division still to play. So I don't think the Vikings have much to worry about. They've played really well over the last 2 games, even though they shit the bed. And the Cardinals' offense looked electric last night. So good on them.
To another game where kicking became of the utmost importance, the Cowboys versus the Chargers. And yeah. I only got one thing to say in this whole thing. And again, this isn't taking away from anybody. I feel bad for Justin Herbert because you come in, you outplay Dak Prescott, and you still lose.
QBR says he didn't outplay Dak Prescott.
You can throw QBR. Dak Prescott, 237, 1 interception. Justin Herbert, 338, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and he's a second-year quarterback. He outplayed Dak Prescott.
I like Justin Herbert, so I'm not gonna argue.
And it's not shitting on Dak. I'm not saying Dak played awful. I'm just saying you play against a guy who is known in the league, right? You outplay him, and you still lose. I just feel bad for him. That's my only thing about the whole thing is I felt bad for Justin Herbert. And honestly, you're a Cowboys fan. You might felt differently. It was really boring of a game to me, though.
I don't think it was boring. I don't think anybody could. Like I was watching it with the British commentary. It was the main game in the UK yesterday. So we were able to watch the whole game, and you watch it with the British commentary in between. So like you watch the game, and we don't have as many adverts over here. So when you guys are taking ad breaks, we're getting analysis by Neil Reynolds, who's the British guy on it, and then Sean Gale, 1985 Bears cornerback, is one of the analysis guys. And I can't remember the name of the other dude, but I think he played for the Saints or something like that. And they were loving it. I mean, I know it's their job to love it, but I think it was a weirdly offensive game for something that was only 20-17. Down to the amount of penalties that the referees were throwing everywhere. Like both offenses will be disappointed that they've only scored 20 and 17 points respectively. Like neither of those defenses were playing like that. Like I messaged you saying, I told them they should have drafted Asante Samuel. And you said, hang on, the Cowboys are holding them to only 14 points. It should have been 20 odd, 30 odd points at that point. And in the same direction, the Cowboys should have also scored 20 odd, 30 odd points at that point as well. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good win for the Cowboys. It showed they won in a different way. It showed they won a close game, which they've been terrible at this for the past couple of years, winning in the close games. It showed they could win in a different way. It showed that they can run the football. That was just a tactic against Tampa. Their offense is 2-dimensional. They can pass it like they had to against Tampa, or they can run it like they did against the Chargers. So that's good news. And then there are some awesome players on our defense mixed in with some terrible ones. So you still only can defend half of the field, but that's okay. Lots of injuries. Micah Parsons was amazing. unbelievable coming off
That's
the edge.
kind of where my argument's coming. We should have got Asante Samuels, but Micah Parsons was the MVP of that defense.
No, you could have got Asante Samuels second.
Well, no, I
second
get
round.
what you're saying.
He was
saying,
there
like,
in the second round to take.
You look at you being all greedy. Like, that's my point.
They took Kelvin Joseph, who's now injured and not seen yet. So he could come back and be amazing, and I hope he is. But we could have had Asante Samuel, who locked down Amari Cooper last night. That was my point of view on that. But I just wanted to say he was amazing, Asante Samuel, as well.
What made the game boring to me is that penalties killed every freaking bit of momentum every time it came around. And it was just like, I'm watching the Viking game on one TV. I'm watching the Cowboys play on the other TV. And then we get to the Sunday night game. I was just like, it kind of fell in this. You guys are killing the momentum. The penalties are, and you can blame the refs or the teams. I don't care either way. The penalties kept killing the momentum.
I thought the refs were pretty soft on a lot of penalty flags. They were pretty like rules of the game, that kind of stuff. Although the touchdowns that the Chargers had wiped off the board were penalties, of course. Like they were just like illegal shift. That's your fault if that is an illegal shift. It was on you could see it on the replay. That's why the Jared Cook. What I didn't understand, and this is from a Chargers point of view, I'm very sorry that this happened to you, but Justin Herbert backpedaling, trying to make the play, Micah Parsons gets given the sack or a penalty from that or something like that. And it's protecting the quarterback. And it's like, yeah, I see where you're coming from there, but Micah Parsons didn't even have his hands on him yet when he threw the flag. So I thought that was pretty harsh, but how about them Cowboys? You know, they pulled it out on a close game. Their defense has got some players on it. And when you're taking all the injuries, then they've got other players to come back. The guys that they brought in from Atlanta were playing really well. Curse and Kazee played really well. The defense has players on it. We just need to lock down the other corner. So Anthony Brown again got talked about. Trayvon Diggs had a really hot and cold game. I feel like
he had a great pick in that game.
Fantastic pick, but then he also gave away 2 or 3 stupid broken coverages. He's one of the most hot and cold players I've ever seen. Like he was amazing against Tampa, but not so good.
He's just still young.
The Chargers. Oh yeah. I have no doubt that he's going to be one of the better corners in the league. I think he's a top quality player. It's just when he's our best corner and he's hot and cold. I would just like to quickly make a point on what I was harping on about in the offseason, and that's how shit of a head coach, Mike McCarthy is with all the garbage that happened at the end of the game. The reason that Greg Zuerlein had to kick from 56 yards instead of 40 was because Mike McCarthy just lost control. He couldn't see the clock. The stadium clock stopped working, is what he said. And it's like, we're getting to a fucking position where you can see the clock. Why don't you have one on your wrist? You should have clocks. Like you should be able to see them no matter what. Like if we can see them on the TV, you can fucking see them. Like don't be ridiculous. And like it wound down 30 seconds and Dak had to eventually take the timeout 5 seconds away.
Just one question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think you win that game with Coach Clapp? You think Garrett wins that game?
If Dan Quinn is the defensive coordinator and Kellen Moore's the offensive coordinator, then yes.
So no, because Dan Quinn came there for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay,
depending on what the
end.
Defense is like, then yes.
No, I was just messing with you at the end.
Well, I didn't hate Jason Garrett. He's just the most 8-8 coach of all time.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Him and Jeff Fisher are the epitome of average. If you want,
so he wins games like that, and then loses games that we should blow people out because he's let it too close as well. He's that kind of guy. I have no doubt that Mike McCarthy's amazing. His game management's just shit, and
Yeah, I would
he
just
needs
was
to
had
just
to
leave.
for you a little.
He needs to just leave that to somebody else. You know, the game management, just leave it to somebody else. You know, give the stopwatch or whatever shit you're using to call timeouts. Just give it to somebody else. Let Dak take control of it or something. Like
To back your point though, he's not even calling plays. So what the fuck are you doing?
yeah, like what like game manage. That is your entire point. You know, like. Oh, it's infuriating. It was a few times last year where it was so stupid. We'll move on from the Cowboys now. How about them Cowboys? They won a great game. They played well enough. Their defense still needs sorting out, and Mike McCarthy needs to learn how to game manage. That's my only criticisms.
Well, on to the Raiders versus Steelers, and I'll just say I only got one question for you, Maddie. Is Derek Carr going to finally get some respect?
No, not from John Gruden.
How about everybody else then?
From the rest of the league, I think he's been getting respect for a long time. When we've debated top 10 quarterbacks, he's always around there for us.
Yeah, he's always like one of the top 14, top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you always have 15 top 10 quarterbacks, and he's one of the 15, you know?
Yeah.
That's where he kind of ranges, like Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, if you want to put him in there. That kind of range of Carson Wentz, that kind of range of guy. But he is playing
the funny
lights
thing
out.
is the three guys you just put in that tier, Dak, Kirk, and Derek Carr, all three are balling.
Yeah, all three. I've just claimed Derek Carr on waivers before anybody else does in our fantasy league, just to make sure that those points are with me, even if I decide to play Dak over him or whatever. I dropped Tannehill. If anybody in our fantasy league wants to go pick up Tannehill, he's waiting for you right there. Go have him.
Well, I'm just gonna have to go, Maddie, and go pick up Tannehill. So the Raiders impressed me though.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like I thought the Steelers played awful or anything. I think the Raiders just outplayed them.
Yeah, Raiders outplayed them. Steelers can't throw the ball down the field. I think they can't throw the ball down the field and they can't run. So that's going to make any offense difficult. It means you just have to kind of block the intermediaries and then you kind of sort it from there. But there's no way that the Steelers lost that game. The Raiders won that game, and they're playing really, really well. Henry Ruggs is kind of starting to justify his 11th pick in the draft status, you know, and Derek Carr is playing lights out football, man.
Yeah, and I think with guys like Ruggs, when you come from college, the system's way different. Some guys catch it quicker than others.
Yeah, COVID as well. Difficult year to move.
I don't think they're going to have a problem. I think a lot of it is that I'm impressed on how well they're playing, being that they just threw away the whole offensive line in the offseason and got a new one.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of saying. That's what we were saying. So we picked the Raiders to win this game. I just want everybody to let that be known. Both of us picked the Raiders to win this game. And then I shit the bed on the Raiders pick because the Steelers were 6-point favorites going into that game. Because you think Raiders don't have an offensive line. Steelers have got one of the top 10 defensive lines in the league. When Derek Carr's playing like that, it doesn't matter. Like, it does matter. Like, clearly the offensive line is a little better than what we thought, or the Steelers' defensive line didn't show up last night.
But they did all right against the Ravens' defensive line too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying. I think they're better than people are giving them credit for, and they only really need to be good enough to keep people out for as long as it takes Henry Ruggs to get down the field and Derek Carr to launch a rifle off his back foot all the way down the field.
And he did it without his running back, who's a top 10 running back.
Yeah, I still think there's teams where I still hold on the fact that the Raiders are playing really well at the minute, but they'll eventually fall off.
I agree.
And there are teams that are worse matchups. So they're beaten up teams. Like the Ravens are injured, so their secondary's nowhere, even though they've just beat the Chiefs. But so it's really confusing. And then the Steelers, nobody actually really fancied that much coming into this season, but then they beat the Bills first season up. So it's very strange. There's a lot of hype around the Raiders at the minute because of who the teams that they beat. But they're good matchup. They're good matchups for the Raiders to play the people that they've played so far. I don't want to take anything off the Raiders because they're two amazing wins.
And if you'd have told me the Steelers were 1-1 after 2 weeks, I'd have thought the win and loss would have been flipped.
Yeah, and if you told me that the Raiders were 2-0 after 2 weeks at the start of the season, I would have said that you've never watched American football before.
Right.
Well, they are, and well done to them. They're playing really well. Derek Carr is playing amazingly well. That's the reason that they're winning. I just want to put that out there. And their defense is showing up as well. That helps.
Absolutely. And Spider 2, why banana? All right. I just had to end it with that. All right. On to the Saints Panthers. And this wasn't about the game for me so much, is I just had to touch base on this because it's really odd that the Saints were down like 7 or 8 offensive coaches. They had guys from like other departments doing jobs of coaching, and that seems very weird to me. This isn't to give them any excuses or anything, but I do think it kind of hurt Jameis's play.
Yeah. The only thing I have to say about that is how much are those 8 coaches doing on game day? Like we're not there. So some of them will be doing Butler, a lot. Yeah.
This morning was saying that the guy who calls in the signs, gone. The guy who
that's a big
called
deal,
the offensive line adjustments, gone. Like, so there was some big coaching. I'm not saying that's why they lost. I'm not. I was just saying during a year that we were going to see some strange shit. I wanted to bring this up because this was the start of the weird, strange shit we might see this year.
Get double vaccinated and that won't happen. There you go. That's like, I know it's a controversial thing to say. In the UK, it's not really that much of a controversial thing to say. So,
but I thought the NFL coaches were all vaccinated.
Not these 8. Surely not.
I don't know. I got a friend right now who's double vaccinated and she's at home with COVID.
Yeah, but it's you don't have to isolate for as long, do you? So those 8 people can't all have COVID and nobody else have COVID.
No,
like
I think what happened is they were in contact with.
But if you're in close contact and you're double vaccinated, then you don't have to stay out for that long. So it would be
4 days, I think, is what. But I don't know.
That's a lot longer than you do.
The point of this whole thing was here comes the weird shit with
you just have to. In the UK, you just have to. If you're in close contact with somebody, you just have to test, prove that you've taken the lateral flow test, and then you can just go straight into work. It doesn't really matter,
right? And for the NFL, it's different though. They got some weird stuff with the 4 days, and I think to be honest, I think they put that shit in there trying to force players to making it harder so they get vaccinated. Do you know what I'm saying? So
and it's that argument where like I believe in your choice to do whatever you want to do. If you want to do not getting vaccinated, then that's fine, but you deal with the consequences of not getting vaccinated, and this is a consequence of not getting vaccinated. Those guys might be vaccinated, and then I'm talking out my arse, but I just have a feeling that 8 people wouldn't be on the sidelines if they weren't vaccinated, you know. But apart from that, the Panthers are playing really, really well this so far. They're playing a brand of football that suits them. They're playing complementary football, and Jameis Winston blows hot and cold, and we know that about him.
I'm still sold on Jameis, but
be sold on Jameis. I like Jameis Winston. I think his hot spells are amazing and his cold spells are okay as well. Like you can deal with, if you have good defenses and good coaching, you can deal with the games that he has off. But he played amazingly against the Packers and then didn't really do anything against the Panthers. And I think that's kind of where he's at.
I think Jameis gets them to the playoffs, so I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'm excited for that division. The playoff run in that division, obviously Tampa. Tom Brady is looking like he's on MVP. Fire. Yeah. Let's quickly just mention Tampa for smashing the Falcons really quickly. Well done. We don't really have to mention that much more than that.
No, and I do just have one more question for you today, Maddie. One more.
Go for it.
Because I don't even care about the game so much. What do you do if you're the Giants? Daniel Jones comes out and plays his best game of his career, and he still gets outplayed by Taylor Heineke and loses. And Taylor Heineke showed me something. Everybody can say that pick was awful, which it was. But Taylor Heineke rebounding instantly from that pick, driving him down the field for a game-winning drive, was very impressive. Danny Dimes plays his best game, still gets outplayed, and gets a loss. I don't know what you do if you're the Giants.
Taylor Heineke is young Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what I have to say about
that. He doesn't go cold like Fitz tragic.
Yeah, that's who I think he is. Like, I genuinely think he again is a hot and cold kind of guy. I really like him. I rate him.
He's played 2 games. He's got 3 NFL starts. He's in playoffs. I don't know. He's pretty hot to me right now.
I kind of want him to be really good this year because then Deshaun Watson won't end up in Washington.
I can see that.
So that's good.
So my question is, if you're the Giants, you start searching for another quarterback?
I've already started searching for another quarterback if I'm the Giants. I like Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones goes to a different organization and plays really well. Like, you can imagine Daniel Jones playing in Tennessee or Raiders or somewhere like that, and he's playing good football where it's like coach-driven offensive football where they incorporate the run. I think he's kind of like, I think Pete Carroll would love to have Daniel Jones instead of Russell Wilson. I think, like, if Russell Wilson ends up moving on, then Daniel Jones is, oh shit, is Russell Wilson going to end up with the Giants?
Well, no. Daniel Jones with Sean Payton and those kind of guy. First guys.
Daniel Jones is a good enough quarterback with fantastic attributes. But if I'm the Giants, I've had to start looking because they haven't won anything. And when he plays his best game and still loses, then, you know, like,
and it's a team sport. I get that, but it's just like, if you're the Giants, you're in the spotlight. This dude just played the best game of his career, and we couldn't win.
And he left a lot of yards on the field. He has a horrible habit of leaving a lot of yards on the field. I don't know whether you saw Kenny Golladay arguing with him on the sideline, and then you watch the replays of how open Kenny Golladay was.
And your rookie receivers tweeting at your ass.
Yeah. I've had to start, if I'm the Giants, I've had to start looking at one, but I'm not too upset about Daniel Jones's play. If there's a deal on the table for like Jimmy Garoppolo or someone like that, where it works out for you, then take it.
Oh, you mean like a Deshaun Watson deal?
Yeah.
I had to say it. Sorry.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well.
Yeah, basically. Fuck.
Do you guys get ESPN2 over there?
No.
Okay. I don't know if you can watch it, but if you're going to watch the Monday night game tonight, Peyton Manning and Eli are doing the game like they did last week on Monday night. It was epic on ESPN2. And Pat McAfee's going to be their special guest during the game tonight.
I'll have to watch the highlights of the commentary as well as the highlights of the game, because unfortunately I've got to be on a bus at 6:30 in the morning to go to a rural Yorkshire village to teach some children. Fantastic.
Well, that's a good
I'll watch it on the bus.
That's a good cause.
Yeah, I'll watch it on the bus. I'll watch it on the bus on the way there. But I am excited for tonight's game. I really want Detroit to come out and just kill people. Like, I want them to just walk out of there and just think, I'm going to kill somebody on the other side of the pitch today. And hopefully Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, for the good of the league, not for the good of your division, Aaron Rodgers looks good, you know, and plays well.
This is going to sound like some haterish shit, and it's not even because it's a good time to watch the Packers lose, because it's always a good time to watch the Packers lose. But it would just be epic to see Aaron have another bad game and then what he has to say on McAfee Tuesday. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Packers are going to win tonight.
Crush
though,
them.
Right? Yeah, maybe not crush them. Maybe not as much as in past seasons, but
if the Packers don't come out and smoke them because they're angry, I think you're going to hear a lot of chatter. Even if they win and it's like a 3, 5, 6 point game, you're still going to hear a lot of shit tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they were kind of guilty of not being with it week one. And after getting hammered in week one, then you've got divisional rivals, divisional whipping boys coming up. week 2. Sorry, Lions fans. I really want you to do well this season, but you're still the divisional whipping boys. um, you've got a feeling they're going to come out and stick some serious points on them. But we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Keep your eye open because Maddie and I will do a week 3 preview, and that's when we'll hit the Packers-Lions game review. All right, guys. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.